Hey everybody, welcome to the Film Photography Project. My name is Owen McCafferty and today is Friday, which means that it's Filmmaker Friday. And today I'm really excited because we have two really interesting guys with us, Quintana and Joey Tiberio. Hopefully I didn't butcher those names too much. Also known as Backpack Joe, right?
Yep.
Is that your stage name?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And we brought them onto the show because we were able to actually look at their music video called Sunroom, which they both directed. Austin was a director of photography. Joey, obviously, in addition to doing the music, was also the editor for the film. And we really enjoy it. I really think that the viewers are going to enjoy it. So I'm excited for you guys to watch it. So we're going to go ahead and run the movie in right now. And then we'll meet back here to talk with the guys about the film and ask some questions. So without further ado, here is Sunroom. So you're both not originally from Rochester. Austin, I don't think you're originally from Rochester, but you're there now.
Yeah, we're both from Fairport, which is just right outside Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
We both grew up here. Yeah.
And how did you guys get connected?
We actually met in preschool. Yeah. So we've like known each other pretty much our whole lives. And
wow.
Yeah, we kind of got into video stuff like when we were about 10, like 8 to 10 around then, and then we've pretty much just been doing it ever since then.
And so what were you guys shooting when you were that young? Was it like high 8?
No, it was all digital.
Oh, so young.
We did start shooting high 8 in high school. Yeah. We made a 30-minute documentary of our like last summer together on high 8. But a lot of meandering genres through the years of working together. Yeah, our early stuff was kind of just like little YouTube videos. You know, that's what we were into at the time when we started, was just YouTube. So that kind of got us into the world of video.
So you guys have really been doing this, I mean, since like inception, right? I mean, I feel like we've been doing it for longer than I can remember. It's just like always been a thing. Yeah, we'd like get a new camera and then learn a new program and just do something new, and then we both really got into like photography and starting to shoot like 35 millimeter film, and then both kind of went to school for film and concentrated in different things. I did more of cinematography, photography, using analog methods, and then Joy went for more of an editing. You both grew up in the digital space, in the digital world. Although I'm sure you had exposure to film cameras when you were younger, right? Because not everybody was shooting digital. Yeah. But what made you decide to really get into film more than just, you know, it sounds like, and maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like you really, at least Austin, you really are looking to do some kind of career in traditional filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Why?
Film it's timeless. It can look like home movies, or it can look like major motion films shot on 16 and 35 millimeter that just look incredible. So there's a huge range of feeling, and then it's the ability to be more intentional with the medium and take your time and just have that patience built into the medium itself, which is what I was really attracted to it, and then bringing that into my still photography, which I've only shoot film on, and kind of combining those two worlds.
And Joey, are you, I mean, I don't know what an education, I didn't go to school for film, right? So what, in the terms of editing, I mean, do you work with, was this your first project working, like editing actual film? Or, yeah, I mean, so, and sorry, and to follow that up, are you, as part of your education in editing, was film editing, is that like a specific subject or lesson that's part of that education, or is it something you just sort of do on the side? Yeah, so when I went to school, I didn't really do any like sort of physical film, you know, cutting and pasting together. I did mostly digital. And so with this project too, we like all the film that we had was scanned and we edited it digitally. So there wasn't any like physical editing like that. But yeah, when I went to school, it was basically just, you know, more advanced digital editing courses and like learning, you know, when to cut, where to cut, that kind of thing. Gotcha. I mean, do you think there are specific challenges with editing film, even digitally, that is different than editing something that's, you know, purely shot with a digital camera? I think one of the things that we ran into was, you know, when you're shooting digital, you can kind of just shoot however much you want. You know, you don't have like a limited amount of, I mean, you have like an SD card, but you can just get another SD card. Right. So shooting on film, when we only had like this specific amount of footage, we're like, okay, we need to like go back and like find stuff that we can use within the footage that we shot. Cause, so that was like a bit tricky, just like
having a limited range there.
Yeah.
But it was like fun, you know, it kind of makes you think a bit harder, like what stuff would be good where.
Right.
We kind of planned it out like we have 20 seconds for this shot. We can't really go anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we could maybe do 2 takes and that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, when you talk to filmmakers who have never shot with film before and then try to go to it without having any experience, even in like still photography, without having any film experience, I think a lot of people are very sort of shocked by how intentional you really have to be with every single second, because every frame costs something, you know, and it's not cheap. And when you screw it up, it can, you know, it can ruin your entire budget, right?
Right.
You know, and there's no going back. There's no fixing it. So, but so let's talk about sunroom. So you know, again, we were talking about this retro feel. I loved the crossfades that you guys did, the kaleidoscope effect. I thought, I mean, seriously, it was like watching an old like Procol Harum music video from the late '60s. You know, it was very, you know, kind of like a natural soft focus to it. Were those I am curious, were the crossfades done in camera or were those done in post?
There was a mix of crossfades. Well, the double exposure shots were in camera.
In camera, okay.
But then some of the crossfades were digital. So it was kind of a way to have a seamless transition and keep it. I wish we could have done it manually, but we didn't have the forethought or the planning.
Or like the film, we didn't have like that much extra film to like.
And so what were you guys shoot? So I know obviously you shot the film in 16 millimeter and then regular 8 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
What camera did you guys use for 16?
We used a Bolex.
I'm assuming that wasn't your first time using a Bolex. If you were able to do like dissolves or double exposures, right?
Yeah. I went to Emerson College for and studied film production there, and they have a whole fleet of about 75 plus Bolexes.
Wow.
And a whole fleet of Steenbeck editing tables. So that was kind of my training and introduction with film. And they had really nice Bolexes like the Rex 4s and Rex 5s with the huge viewfinders. And the one that I have currently is like the Rex 1. So the viewfinder is very small. It's a little foggy. And then my lens was also super foggy and I couldn't move the focus ring hardly. It was like stuck.
Gummed up, yeah.
And I couldn't use the other 2 lenses that it came with because those were just completely jammed. So it was a bit of a troubleshooting. Like we found that out pretty much the day we started shooting because it was my first time using this Bolex, like my personal. We shot the whole thing on one lens and that's kind of why there's a soft feel to it. And we were able to bring it into DaVinci and color correct, bring it a little bit down, up the contrast and smooth out the colors a bit.
And I was going to ask you if that soft focus was something you did in post or whether, you know, you did it the old school way, which is to essentially put Vaseline on the lens or on a filter. But I mean, obviously it turned out great. I think that's a testament because some people, you know, they see a little bit of fungus on a lens or a little bit of fogging and they freak out, you know, and you may realize, well, gee, actually it's giving me the effect that I want anyway. But, and so was it and I meant to ask, so what camera did you use for regular 8?
That was a Bolex K2 Bolex. We had some issues with it, getting it to advance because you have to load regular 8. It's not like the cartridge. So we weren't sure if it was going or not, and I had to check several times. And we shot a lot of footage and realized that it wasn't even going. So that whole beginning sequence where the black and white is chaotic and all over the place, that was due to the loading issues.
Yeah, regular 8 is one of those formats that, you know, a lot of people come to regular 8 after having shot Super 8 most of the time, and so they're used to that cartridge-based system, and it's always scary because you never really trust that the film is actually moving, and you're always paranoid that you're not getting the shots that you want. So I totally can understand that. Was it a conscious decision to sort of have two formats in the film?
We're mostly gonna shoot and use the 16 millimeter footage, and I just had this Bolex K2 that I bought a while back, and I had a roll of film. I was like, let's just try it out. Like I've been wanting to do this. It wasn't. We didn't plan any of the shots really. It was just we brought it to the locations and used it, and then it ended up giving us like such great footage that we were able to use most of it, and the timing too. We didn't have enough footage off the 16 alone, so we really actually needed the black and white 8 millimeter.
Yeah, we were like planning on shooting the major stuff in 16 and then just using the black and white for kind of like, some
Fillers
behind the scenes stuff. Yeah,
but then it ended up being like saving us in the end, because one, it looked great, it came out like really awesome, and then we were like, oh, we can totally use this to fill in these gaps, and it really complemented the color.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was the regular 8 shots definitely seem to be more mobile, more portable. Of course, part of that is obviously the Bolex is the regular 8 Bolex is much smaller than the 16. Was it, but those shots definitely seem shaky and chaotic. And was that on purpose, or was that just kind of an unintentional result?
It was on purpose. Yeah, we were just like running around with it and trying to get that on it, almost like Jonas Mekas feel to it, where it's just jumpy and creating images through that chaotic blend of, and you kind of never know what you're gonna get with film. Right. So sometimes it just comes out with a really cool effect.
I don't know. We knew that some of it was gonna be just gonna come out like
unusable,
right? So we just decided to like have fun with it and kind of shoot things like in experimental ways.
How much did you feel that the music was dictating the shots, the composition, or was it sort of fitting the music? I mean, I don't know if you wrote the song before you did the music video, like what came first, and how did you decide?
Yeah, I wrote the song a couple of months before we shot the video, and I think I sent it to Austin. So he had heard it before. I came home for like summer break, and when we were planning the video, we kind of planned out all the shots. Like it was going to be more of a narrative that was kind of following some of the lyrics. And like we had this idea where I was going to be inside in a bed, and then the bed was going to be outside. So it was going to be like kind of a juxtaposing like the inside outside, because the lyrics are kind of about that. But when we ended up getting to shooting it like we followed a lot of the structure of what we planned, but then a lot of it I think also was kind of just when we got there, we decided to shoot some stuff like differently. So I think
changed too in the editing.
Yeah,
because we had this whole master sequence of which shot was going next, and we kind of decided to throw it all together and scramble it up.
Yeah, because the way that we like planned it, it wasn't working like as a straightforward thing. So I think in the end, like having it as like this hodgepodge kind of made it what it was, kind of made it.
What advice would you both have for other people who are thinking about shooting film but haven't quite pulled the trigger? And then the next question to that is, what's the future look like for you both, either individually as artists or together?
Try to find some sort of system that works for you, like find a cheap camera, start there, get the basics in first. You don't have to spend a ton of money because film equipment and photo equipment is just exuberantly expensive. Like everything, the better equipment is always, it's gonna make a better image, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be more meaningful or that. So with this Bolex, it kind of fell into my hands. I had been wanting one for a long time, and I just had that leftover stock. You can get, if you're a student, you can get a discount from Kodak. And then there's these great services like Film Photography Project that they have their own line of stocks. They have great people behind the company like that can give you advice, and loads of YouTube videos on how to do things, how to load a Bolex. So the information is out there. You just have to like sit down and dig in.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tricky thing to get into because you're like, where would I even start with that?
Mhm.
But like you're saying, like there's so many guides online on like how to do this, and it's cool. It's like fun to like, you know, get a new camera and
Yeah.
figure out how it works.
And
And
like go back in time too and do things that
Mhm.
And so what about the future?
we're trying to figure that out. I mean, we
Yeah.
both just graduated, looking for opportunities. I'm applying to jobs in New York City, but we'd like to live together, continue to make art together. Joey has an album coming out, so we'd like to
Yeah.
finish making music videos for that.
And what's the name of the album?
It's gonna be called Rose Glass.
And where, and so if people like, when are you releasing it? How can we access it?
There's no release date yet, but it's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, and you know all the major places that you stream things.
Awesome.
So,
And by the way, you know, for everybody listening, in the description below, we'll have links to the video, obviously, and then to your guys' social media accounts. Austin, I know you have a website, and I'm sure, or actually, I think I've seen your website, Joey, or your Bandcamp is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll link all that stuff below too. So if anybody wants to go check out, I've seen some other videos that Austin, you have done. We'll link your YouTube channel below, so please check that out. I've also listened to some more of Joey's music, so please, if you guys enjoyed watching Sunroom, definitely check out these guys' other work because it's definitely worth your time.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks so much, guys, for joining us. And I'm sure this is not the last that we'll hear from you because clearly you're both super talented. So we're excited to see where things go. Definitely keep in touch and
Yeah, for sure.
keep shooting film, please.
Definitely will do.
All right, great. Thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions for the Film Photography Project, you can reach out to me. That's Owen at filmphotographyproject.com. And if you have a question for these two guys, you can certainly send them to me, and I'll be sure to pass them along. Thanks to everybody for watching, and have a great rest of your day.